We'll listen to him.
Rock and roll, rock and roll. I've heard it since I was a little kid, baby. I stood back there and I heard it.
And you're still hearing
this, and you got, what's that?
And you're still hearing it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Rock and roll.
As I was saying, I stood back there and I heard it. Y'all want to go. I love it. The guy I know, and the kid I'm about to learn a little bit from. See what you got, baby.
Okay. So
The
what are you
guy
saying?
that I know is a fighting champ, and they'll put the gold on the line.
Okay. Oh, well, wait, let's back up here a little bit if I can breathe. So in other words, you're trying to tell us that if we're fighting champions, we would put these belts up right now?
Right here.
What do y'all think?
What do you think, ACW?
You see, we always put the fans first. That's why we never minded being number 2. And we like to give them what they want to see. Yeah. So y'all want to see a tag match with the belt? Yeah. All right. Let's do it right now. Let's put them up right now. Let's do it.
Hello there, Appalachian Championship Wrestling fans. We are getting this best of Ricky and Kerry Morton edition started off hot with Mance Warner doing a little bit of preaching here at the compound back in 2022. It's a sermon that I'm happy to be able to attend.
Yeah, it was a goal of yours, mine, and Moose's. When we started running these shows in the building, it's like, let's try to get Mance Warner down there. Such a big fan of Mancer and all that he's done, and it's been awesome watching Mancer's journey, through professional wrestling. And we just really wanted to get him down to the building. It was a goal of ours, and this was the day, it was in October of 2022, and it finally went down.
Yeah, and against Ricky Morton and Kerry Morton, nonetheless. So really just a perfect matchup to have in the ring at the compound. And, I wouldn't say that I am frequently a super fan of anybody, but I am a super fan of Mance Warner and Ricky Morton. So it was definitely a treat to have him in West Virginia in the compound and, right there in front of us doing his thing. And after having spent a little bit of time talking to him, he has studied years and years of wrestling. And so this old school studio wrestling setup, I'm sure, was fun for him too.
Oh yeah, and so to give everybody a little context, Ricky and Kerry going into this match were the ACW Tag Team Champions, and you'll see Robert Gibson at ringside. Originally this match was scheduled to be Rock and Roll Express, Ricky and Robert against Second Gear Crew, Mance Warner and Matt Justice. But unfortunately, Robert's hip was acting up on him that weekend, and so Kerry jumped in there, and we had us a moment in the compound.
Kerry Morton, of course, you and I first got to know Mance Warner. I think you knew him before I did, but you knew him through the MLW stuff as well. Is that correct?
Yeah. I first saw him pop up on IWA Mid-South.
Okay.
And then he popped up on IWA Mid-South, and then you saw him popping AIW, and then GCW, MLW, CZW, he's continued just to kind of move his way.
But my Mance Warner era was GCW, and we've since seen Kerry Morton go there and be a different kind of. He's sweet as pie here at ACW.
But it's so awesome seeing him do his heel thing.
He shows his hind end when he goes to GCW, and it's a treat to partake in.
And I remember that first time that he showed up in Atlantic City at the Showboat, and he was booked as a baby face, but the Showboat, Atlantic City crowd, a little.
Yeah, they weren't having it.
Reminds me a little bit of the old Extreme Championship Wrestling crowd. If they're not fans, they're gonna let you have it. Kerry, where he'd been around wrestling his whole life, he saw an opportunity and he ran with it. He saw the fans weren't going to be cheering him, and so he got on that mic and he made sure they was never going to cheer him again. And it's been cool seeing him do that stuff in the Juggalo Championship Wrestling too, with the Southern Six. And when we first met this young man, it would just be like,
come on, Kerry, let's go.
You couldn't even fathom him being a heel.
He's so polite, shake your hand.
Right.
And we've actually got a match coming up at the very end of this best of that you guys aren't going to want to miss. It's going to be a baby Kerry Morton, comparatively, and Ricky here at the compound, and it was before the compound had evolved into what it is now. Before really the whole company and product had evolved into what it is.
Right. It was the very first episode of Underground Assault. We're gonna go back. We're saving that for last.
Yeah.
There was the very first taping we ever did at the compound will be at the end of this video. So stick around for that, just so you can check out to see the changes in the building. Look at Kerry on Matt Justice.
In the meantime, be sure that you like and subscribe to this channel. That way you can see all of our fresh releases from the shows the great, huge, amazing shows that we've got coming up in 2025. But then also so that you can see all these look backs, best ofs, and so forth to get a little context and history on some of the things that you're seeing now.
So here's, I remember when we were first trying to get Mance down to the compound. I remember we had went to GCW. This was during the pandemic at that park in Indianapolis, and they were doing the after party. And Moose had gotten Ricky to do a little promo. Call him out, Manser.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Do you remember? And I was like, Manser, we got to get you down the building. It was like, there's somebody here that wants. I got a message from somebody here that wants to fight you down the building. And I just remember Manser listening to that, and his eyes get kind of big. Well, he is. You could tell he's still a fan of professional.
Yeah, that's the point I was trying to make there at the beginning. Is we spent a little bit of time chatting with him, and you could tell that he's really studied all of the pioneers that came before him. And, taken some of the best of what they've done and brought it to his in-ring work.
But yeah, this is the only time we was able to get Manser into ACW. Up to this point, you never know what might happen in the future. But it was a pleasure getting him and Justice against the Mortons in the compound. It was definitely making memories. As the Mortons retain the ACW Tag Team titles against Second Gear Crew, Mance Moore and Matt Justice.
We'll be right back with another great match. All right, we're back now with another best of Kerry and Ricky. This time we are at B-Dubs in Mount Hope. This is back in 2023, and you can see that they are against the Rip City Shooters.
Yeah, this is there's defending the ACW tag titles against the Rip City Shooters here at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Mount Hope. And you got Wes Barkley and Josh Bishop challenging for the tag titles.
And this is always one of our I feel like personally that the shows that we put on in Mount Hope are some of the best that we do all year. They're some of my favorites, and we haven't built the crowd at this place as much as we have at the Charleston locations, but the shows themselves are always just next level stellar. So it's worth making that short trip from Charleston to come to these shows. This summer, if you want to come and check them out, I highly recommend.
Yeah, we should be having our event calendar for 2025 out very soon. It may even be out by the time that you see this. And once again, it is just packed.
Yeah.
We're going to have 6 B-Dub shows, Putnam County Fair, a few shows in Ohio, a couple in Kentucky.
I hate to be a bad influence, but just go ahead and take the whole summer off work.
Well,
because the summer of ACW is going to be occupying your time. So just tell your boss that you have to take an extended leave because you can't miss any shows. Because you have to be there for every single show on the summer of ACW, and this is essentially going to be a full-time job.
I'll tell you what, I have quit taking any kind of vacations in the summer because in between my real job and this insane schedule that Chris Hughes, aka Moose, puts out during the summer months, there is literally no time for anything else. But hey, we love it, and that's why we do it. And
if you don't have a cool boss that will let you off all summer, you can always watch the matches here on YouTube.
Well, I would suggest call in sick.
Right, give that a go. Use all your sick days.
Use all your sick days, and then watch the video later too.
Right.
But yeah, this is during that Josh Bishop at this point, like not even one hint of him being a babyface.
Right.
Total stone cold heel. Yeah. Nobody was cheering heel. And for good reason.
Right.
And Wes Barkley, the other half of the Rip City Shooters, not giving the fans a whole lot of reasons to cheer for him either. Oh, look at that knee lift. One of Ricky Morton's signature moves. And so, at this point, the Mortons had won the ACW tag titles 2 times. And at this point, while we're recording, this is during their first reign. And the match after this, we'll see another title defense against the Working Class. And then, like we were talking earlier, we're going to go back to the very first Underground Assault, and we'll have a really cool story on how that all went down that day. That was kind of thrown together kind of last minute, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, it's been awesome. For somebody like me, I grew up, I was a teenager in the 80s, grew up during the Crockett era. Lived in Charleston, West Virginia, and NWA Crockett would run monthly, and I went to dag near all of them. It was probably about a 4-year period. That I went to just about all of them and saw the Rock and Roll Express countless times. I don't even know how many times I saw them back in the day. They were regulars at the Civic Center, and then. After that, when I began my, following independent wrestling, Ricky was always popping around in this area, in the Charleston area, on the Indies. And I remember the first time I saw him on the Indies, and I know you were there too. It was in the old IWA East Coast days.
Okay.
And Tracy Smothers was scheduled, and
was it an outside show?
No, it was at the South Charles Community Center, and to be honest with you, I can't even remember his opponent, but he was a surprise because Tracy Smothers was scheduled. Something happened where Tracy had to pull out, and they just advertised that there would be a suitable replacement, and my mind was blown when Ricky Morton come out, and he was actually doing a heel gimmick at the time.
I can't even imagine it.
He's been a heel a little bit here and there, but you know, I don't. You know, that's not the Ricky we know. You know, this is the Ricky we know.
Yeah, I love, and I'm known for, over the last 2 decades, dancing ringside. That's always been my thing, so if you know Ricky's entrance music, you can imagine that it brings out the dancer in me, even if I'm trying to work. Even if I'm
rock and roll is king.
It's like, sorry, if the camera, because that's me running the camera there, so it's like, sorry if the video shakes, but like, my body insists that I dance when Ricky comes out, so. I also like to dance to Wes's music when that's played, but yeah, Ricky gets all of the crowd on their feet every single time, and you can't help but love Ricky. I mean, you just really can't. And I know we've told this story before, but I can give a condensed version. But when AEW came to Charleston, we had front row tickets. And we knew that Ricky was going to be there.
Yeah, Rock and Roll Express was announced.
Yeah, and so
they were going to be there. And this was like when AEW, they hit Charleston. It was like the 5th ever AEW Dynamite Wednesday night show. This is a big deal. Like me,
it was pretty packed.
Me getting
row.
Big crowd, getting the front row was just like unbelievable.
And I know, like, I was most out of everything, most looking forward to getting a Ricky moment, because I knew he would recognize both of us at that point. I knew he would recognize the both of us, and so like leaning over the banister, like ready to talk to Ricky, and then they just got annihilated before they even got off the stage.
They did a deal to where like they're up on the stage, by the entranceway, and Santana and Ortiz jumped them, put Ricky through a table or something like that. Just, you know, to get some heel heat, but like
I was truly devastated.
We got our Ricky moment, but it wasn't quite. But you got some good screen time.
I did because I was sincerely heartbroken.
And that's when a lot of people were still watching AEW.
Yeah.
It's kind of trailed off a little bit. Now I hear it's starting to kind of gather some momentum again, but yeah, at that point, like AEW was maybe, you know, about as hot as WWE.
Yeah.
And it was cool, Ricky, just seeing Ricky. For me, growing up, seeing Ricky in the Civic Center so many times, it was really cool seeing him in the Civic Center again.
Yeah.
What year was that? 2021,
I honestly don't remember.
Oh gosh, time flies. But yeah, this is a...
It couldn't have been 2020 because it wouldn't have been happening, so...
Right. Yeah, we'll be back here in just a minute, folks, with Mortons against the working class.
Are you kidding me? They don't show respect for the shooters? Who knows how they see it?
All right, we're back with another awesome match featuring Ricky and Kerry Morton. This time we are at the Putnam County Fair in July 2023. They are against the working class. And you can see the working class doing what they do.
You got Bishop Baylor, he was managing this day. And working class, you got Josh Williams and Griff Gatlin challenging the Mortons for the ACW title. And this was our first year at Putnam County Fair. But this is also our first show at the Putnam County Fair. It's been awesome keeping that relationship going. We're looking at our 3rd year of big shows at the Putnam County Fair this year, and check out our Facebook, Instagram. We should be making some announcements, dates and talent announcements coming soon, about the Putnam County Fair and all of our huge 2025 stuff. You got Josh Williams. He is something else, buddy. He pops in and out of ACW. I know that real life you know, has made it hard for him to maintain focus on the ring. You know, as often happens. You know, he's look at Ricky. He loves the fans,
and the fans love him.
And you got Bishop Baylor. At this point, he was wrestling, but he was kind of more in a manager role at this point. And you can see him over there. He has no problem getting heat with the fans. You know, he loves getting in people's faces, getting them riled up.
If I remember correctly, yeah, there's some fans at this particular show that are more than thrilled to get back in your face. Like, I think this lady right here is about to, she's off the screen now, but I think she's about to hurt somebody.
Yeah, we got some fired up people at Putnam County.
Putnam County brings out the best in the fans.
So, it's been pretty cool watching Kerry over the years. I know the first time I seen Kerry was probably about the same time you seen Kerry, Nikki. And it was at an All-Star Wrestling West Virginia show.
Yeah.
He used to show up with his dad when he was, he was a little fella. You know, probably, oh, she's getting fired up. That's what you was talking about, jumping in the ring? Yeah, who's doing security, Dick?
Not me. my ass is
That's right. That's right. You do camera work this time. Maybe this year we can put you on security detail. That's right. We got to do live comedy. Okay, we'll get that figured out. I'll put that on the to-do list of things to figure out. But yeah, but Kerry Morton, he used to hit the road with his dad. You know, even way before he was old enough to wrestle. And I remember him singing the national anthem at shows at the Madison Civic Center.
Yeah.
For Gary Danner's All-Star Wrestling. And next thing you know, you turn around and you know how kids, like, especially, you know, young boys, it's like you don't see them for a year and all of a sudden
they look like a whole different person.
Right, they've grown a foot taller and they got whiskers and stuff.
Right.
You know, and it was like that for Kerry. Like, I didn't see him for a couple of years and all of a sudden he went from a child to a young man.
Yeah.
You know, and then the next time I seen him, he was like throwing down in the ring.
Yeah.
It's been awesome, like, seeing Kerry grow up as a young man, and he does a little bit of heel stuff every now and then, but I think everybody that's ever met Kerry knows he is, underneath it all, he is the biggest baby face, like his dad. You know, very, very nice, kind, warm, loving people.
Yeah.
And one thing I can tell you about the Mortons, they truly appreciate their fans. They really do. Ricky will say himself, he's like, hey, you know, thanks to the fans of professional wrestling, I got to live my dream.
Right. Yeah, I always hate when I hear people talk about wrestling fans in a derogatory way, because we learned during the pandemic, especially watching TV wrestling, I like to call it, how vital the fans are to the product. They're like another entrant in the match, because they are so super important to everyone's enjoyment of wrestling. And, you know, I always hate to hear people say rude things about the fans, because...
Yeah, calling them marks and stuff.
Yeah.
I've never heard Ricky say that.
It's like anyone who has ever called someone a mark doesn't get it. You know, you don't get it. The fans are so important, and I've had the privilege of sitting in on a clinic that Ricky was doing at the compound. I believe it was...
Oh, that's right. Yes, it was right prior to the next match we get into. Yeah.
But hearing him talk about interacting with the fans, you know, and he is a master. He's a master of it. And that has stuck with, like, hearing him talk about it has stuck with me. And it's like, it helped me know how to make sure I get the attention if I want it.
So
you know what I mean? So
Nikki and I have both sat in on a couple of these seminars from some of these pro wrestling legends at the compound. And even though I have no plans of ever getting into the ring, I don't know, do you have any plans, Nick?
No. Not unless I've got a microphone.
But it is just so fun.
Yeah.
Like listening to a Ricky Morton or Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. That was another really cool one I got to see. And have them explain, some of the inner workings.
You learn so much about yourself too.
Yes,
as a true blue fan, you learn so much about yourself by listening to it and listening to how they interact with the fans. I've got a lot of enjoyment out of some of these seminars, even though I've never bumped. Right. But a lot of Ricky Morton's charm is winning over the women, all those swooning women for generations that he's had wrapped around his little finger at wrestling shows. Well,
and I know we've talked before about when we went to that, the last time, the Evansville Coliseum, it was a GCW show, and it was the last time the Rock and Roll Express were ever going to team at the Evansville Coliseum. And you saw some of these fans that had went and watched Ricky and Robert back in the day, 40-some years ago. Right. And here they are with their kids and their grandkids. Right. And it is just and just, knowing, I remember at that particular show you were just talking about, knowing what wrestling has meant to me over the years, the good memories that it's given me and the positive times in my life that it evokes when I think about wrestling. I could see those women that were, a couple decades older than me. I could see those women and understand where they were being transported to in their memories by being there. I'm sure a lot of their life had changed. I'm sure lots of Ricky's life had changed, but it conjures up such good memories. So here's what I remember about the Rock and Roll Express matches at the Civic Center. Is we all know Ricky Morton is known to be one of the best sellers in the history of professional wrestling, right? So Ricky, would generally take a little beating, and tag off to Robert. Robert would, come in and house fire, But I don't know how many times I was there, and Ricky would get beat bloody. He'd be bleeding, the whole blood on the bleached blonde hair, and seeing these women crying, literally crying, hysterical.
Right, I mean, I get it. If anybody finds that AEW show,
right?
Look at me.
You're about in tears. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I just remember these women would be crying, and they'd come. They'd have posters, and all this stuff. Yeah. And they'd cry, but then when the Rock and Roll Express would inevitably come back and win at the end. They drive in tears. They'd be jumping up and down.
Emotional roller coaster.
Right. And they'd be ready to buy a ticket for the next month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to see Rock and Roll Express against a pretty. I got to see him against the Andersons. Got to see him against the Midnight Express with Jim Cornette, Tully and Arn. And they were regulars at the Civic Center, and had a cult-like following, mostly of women. To be totally honest with you, back in, if the Rock and Roll Express was in the room, there was no attention being paid to any other dude in the room, and so I was cheering for him to get beat up. Yeah. I was cheering for the Midnight Express, right. To beat him up, because I was a little jealous at the time. Now I've gotten over that since then, right. But at the time, yes, I was rooting for the horse. I was rooting for the Midnight Express to finally beat these guys, because nobody could beat them.
Yeah.
What a legendary, historical run to Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah, I'm always appreciative when Ricky's on one of our shows. Because I feel like he just, he is so kind to the fans and takes time to look them in the eye and greet them. And
Well, Nikki, I know you're going to be pleased to hear that September 27th in Dayton, Ohio, the Rock and Roll Express is back in ACW.
I don't have to run the camera so I can dance. Yeah.
And they're booked. We're trying to get Kerry very busy with Juggalo Championship Wrestling, the NWA, GCW, and all these other indies. Trying to get Kerry too, but we do have Ricky and Robert locked down.
Awesome.
For Dayton, Ohio in September. And yeah, be checking our Facebook, Instagram, social media for the most up-to-date information about that. I'm sure we'll be able to figure out some good opponents.
Yeah, so when you're requesting your leave of absence for the summer, extend it through at least September.
Well, hopefully you'll. Is that it? I think that was it, Nick. Hopefully you'll have a couple vacation days left after you spend all them days on the summer vacation. Well, and then hopefully you got a job to where you get your Saturdays off.
Yeah.
I know, we're gonna have some Saturday shows when we get into the fall. But yeah, the Mortons retain the tag title, and Bishop Baylor, he ain't too happy about it. Griff Gatlin ain't too happy about it. Josh Williams ain't happy about it. But the fans are happy about it. I'm happy about it. Nikki Walters happy about it.
Yep, we'll be back with our final match here in just a second.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a treat.
So cannot miss.
I'm Sunny D, and welcome to the first episode of ACW Underground Assault. Tonight we'll have Ricky and Kerry Morton against Johnny Youngblood and Zaiden Kayne. But before the action, let's hear what the tag teams have to say.
Ricky Morton, I've been waiting my whole entire life to smack you in the mouth. And Kerry Morton, I ain't even met you yet, brother. And I already don't like you. Tired of hearing about you. Tell them, Z.
Kerry, I've known you since you were like knee-high to a grasshopper. You're getting a little too big for your britches. Ricky, you might have got one up on me once back in the day, but tonight, vengeance is looking really good, brother.
What about you, Youngblood? You know, you kind of remind me of my first wife. You know, because she loved to slap me and get me in the mood. I'm not kidding you, fella. Now, you got to understand, I've been down many, many highways and many, many roads. Heard the same old story over and over. What you gonna do? We're fixing to go to the ring and find out. What do you think, buddy?
I mean, what's not understand, Youngblood and Zaiden, rock and roll is here to play, and rock and roll is here to stay. Understand me real quick, understand me. When we step in the ring, we mean business. We're coming after you, young man. I know what you have to say about us, but you know what? Let's just go prove ourselves in the ring.
No. When the Mortons get together, all we do is create stormy weather. Yes.
So how fun is it to get to do work like this with your dad? I mean, first of all, let's just think about that. And then also Desiree Riggs, a.k.a. Sunny D, is now Desiree Williams.
Yeah, we just saw Josh Williams in the last match.
So she's now the better half of Josh Williams. So,
wow, yeah, this is
a massive throwback.
This is bringing back some memories, and this day.
I don't think I said the time, the year.
Okay.
It's 2020. It's the summer of 2020. So
pandemic in full effect.
Yes. Okay, go ahead. So this day.
So this day started off like Moose was, hey, Ricky's coming down for a seminar. If you guys don't have anything to do, you should pop by. And we went by, kind of chill to watch the seminar. And then, they did a match at the conclusion of the seminar, and that became the very first episode of Underground Assault. And as you could, see the room, you could see it has changed tremendously. And but yeah, this was the beginning of it, Nick. And this was kind of the beginning of us being a major part of Appalachian Championship Wrestling.
I mean, we have been involved. Moose had asked for a little bit of social media coaching, which I could, it's what I'm doing now for money. But at the time, it was just a hobby of mine, so he needed a little help getting his Facebook presence sorted out and also getting a YouTube channel going. And I think he knew that I could edit videos, and so we were churning out some of the archival content, getting it out. But in terms of doing these studio tapings, this is the beginning of that.
Well, and I don't know how. This wasn't really all that planned out. This was kind of spontaneous.
And then it's more like, that was cool.
Yeah.
That worked.
Yeah. All of a sudden. Then I remember the next week, me and you were sitting at Chili's, like bouncing names around. What are we going to call the studio show? Mm-hmm. And I remember Underground Assault, when that come up, it's like, bam.
Yeah, I think half that was my idea and half that was your idea. We just combined the words and there they go.
But yeah, and so you got Zaiden Kayne in here, and Zaiden Kayne, part of the very first ever ACW show, also part of the very first compound taping. Now, Ricky was part of the very first ACW show as well. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
And Ricky, semi-regular for us, we try to use him as much as we can. We generally get to use him several times a year. And I look for that trend to continue this year. We've already got him booked, I think, for one, but there's several other possibilities. Kerry, we try to use him as often as we can. He's also very busy.
Yeah, I think you can tell by everybody's gear that this was just kind of an impromptu.
Yeah, this was a very, very hot day.
Yes.
It was in the middle of the summer of the pandemic, and we're all out there. We're all there sweating, but just loving every minute. Yeah, I remember we went down. At first, it was just going to be a seminar, and then we got this cool match with Mortons against Johnny Youngblood and Zaiden Kayne. And then after that, there was that All-Star Wrestling show
that was at Lee's studio,
at the Lee Jordan studio, that we got to sit in and watch it. And keep in mind, during the pandemic, there was no wrestling, there was no entertainment, there was no nothing. And so this day was just awesome.
Right, a breath of fresh air. Yeah, and for anybody that's watching, that your favorite comment to make is look at the crowd. Folks, it's the pandemic. It's like it's literally like a month after everything shut down. It's like 3 months after everything shut down. So, and it was just a match that we were doing on the fly. So let's calm it on comments. Although we could have like 600 people there and somebody would still be like, oh, man, wrestling in front of blah, blah, blah people. It's so sad. Like, no, it's sad that you can't understand what year it is. So just know, before you type that into the comments, first of all, please comment it, because then it helps the video circulate. But secondly, just know that we're going to roast you, because this is...
Yeah. Just keep in mind, if you say anything rude on the comments or anything,
it'll be dealt with.
Yeah, Nikki Walters is going to be all over you, okay? Nikki Walters, salivates at the chance to put somebody in their place online.
Yeah,
so have at it.
Please come at me about
Throw
the crowd.
First punch.
Please.
We beg.
Yeah.
We're begging and pleading. Give us a reason.
Please whine about the quantity of individuals in the room at the first studio taping that no one was invited to.
Oh, hot tag, Ricky Morton there. He just blasted.
the sound reverberating.
The sound is reverberating through the room. Oh, look at this. What do we got here, Nikki? Double schoolboy. The Mortons are the winners in the first ever ACW Underground Assault. And what a treat it has been going back over this old footage. Nikki, you weren't even running the camera. I think Moose is running the camera.
Such an impact here on ACW.
I don't know. I'm definitely running this camera.
I'm just getting word that something's happened in the ring. We should go back and look.
Oh, we got a little misunderstanding in the ring, but hey, this thing's wrapping up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for checking out our stuff, and yeah, keep liking, subscribing to our channel. We appreciate all you guys checking out our stuff, and we will see you next time.
This is Sunny D. Be sure to check us out on YouTube and Facebook for more ACW Underground Assault.